So start recording. Hi, good morning, everybody. Good evening. I think it's afternoon and evening for most people on this call, and it's good morning for me. I'm very excited to be speaking with you today and talking about the resume optimization. So a little bit about the background for this webinar. It's primarily targeted at incoming MBAs. However, if you're a current MBA candidate and you are struggling with the resume part of your application strategy, I think this webinar will be great for you. And how would you know if you're struggling with the resume part of your job search strategies? If you've applied to several roles and you have gotten little or no interviews. So maybe you have gotten just one interview in the past 9 months, you've gotten just 2 interviews in the past 9 months, or you've gotten 0 interviews at all. The problem definitely is your resume. So because we are very few on this call, I would like to take like a quick poll, and or maybe you all can just type your answers in the chat box. So I would like to know, I'm assuming everybody here is an incoming MBA. And if you're not an incoming MBA, if you're a current MBA candidate, or if you're just like a prospective MBA, if you haven't gotten admission to business school, can you just indicate and just let me know who you are in the chat box, so I can tailor my presentation appropriately. I just want to know if everybody here is an incoming MBA candidate, so I know how to tailor my presentation. So just let me know. You can type your message in the chat box. Incoming, awesome. Awesome. Incoming. Okay, since most people here are incoming MBAs, that's really, really great. So I'm sure that you all have heard about like pre-MBA opportunities. Probably some of you even have access to the Tailor Consulting's pre-MBA opportunities sheet. If you don't have access to it, a member of my team is going to put the link in this chat for you to request access, so you can check through all of the pre-MBA opportunities and then apply as soon as possible. I will take you through a little bit about what Tailor Consulting does, who we are. I'm sure some of you know that already, but it's just something that we do for a couple of minutes before starting our webinars every time. So today we are going to be talking about the application strategy relating to the resume optimization, and we are going to have like a Q&A and then next steps. So I am the founder of Tailor Consulting. I currently work as a senior product manager at Microsoft, working in Microsoft security organization. And I graduated from my MBA in 2019. So 7 years ago, I was actually in the exact spot that you are right now. And I would say that I wish I had the type of information that you all had right now. And I wish I actually did a whole lot for pre-MBA opportunities. That would have helped me in my first year so much. And the reason why Tailor Consulting actually exists is because of the challenges that I faced in my first year, how difficult it was for me to navigate corporate America, especially MBA internships, and how I failed a whole lot. Like when I tell people I failed a whole lot, they actually do not believe. But for almost every interview I got, I never got an offer. It's either I didn't get an offer, I didn't get past the first stage, I didn't get to the last stage, but I always failed it. Now, I didn't really struggle so much with my resume part of the job search strategy, but I struggled a whole lot with my interviewing strategy. And that's when I realized that students, especially international students, struggle across the schools. Tell us that great schools really do not have expected or they're non. Okay, so why we exist, I think you all a little bit about why we exist. It's the focus is just to be the plot. is to be the bridge that connects like young professionals and students around the world to be ready for their next career acceleration opportunity. So being ready ahead of your opportunity is what we do here, right? I don't believe in winging things. I don't believe in, oh, something will just happen. I believe in preparation. I believe in process. I believe in taking your time way in advance to be ready for any opportunity that you're going to get in the near future. And a little bit about our success stories, because tailor doesn't just focus on careers, we also focus on graduate admissions coaching. A few of our clients have gotten admissions at these schools, and we have offers from just these companies are just a few of the companies that our clients have gotten job offers at. Currently, I believe that we are at about 150 at offers and more than 130 for MBA admissions offers. So 150 for job offers and about 130 for MBA admission offers. And we actually do have a good track record of scholarships. Please note that we do not promise or guarantee anything, because anybody that does that is just lying. But what we can promise you is that we will hold your hand and we will be your teacher. But a lot of it is about the effort that you also putting into the process. Now, we're going directly straight into our resume optimization session. This is because I don't know if you've ever attended any of my webinars. I always talk about the job search strategy, and the job search strategy has 4 anchors. We have the application strategy, we have your resume strategy, you have your interviewing strategy, and you have your networking strategy in no particular order. I think it goes from application, resume, networking, interviewing strategy. And all of the anchors should be green before you can actually achieve success in your interviews. If they're not green, it's going to be very hard for you to actually land an offer. There are cases where a few people have achieved success by maybe not having a good resume optimization strategy, but they have a great application strategy, but it's just much harder. But having a green light on all of the 4 anchors is something that increases the possibility of you landing a great offer. Now, you all are coming to, I believe almost everybody here is coming to North America. There might be a few people that are going to European schools. And if you're going to European school, you can mention it there. But generally, even around the world, we know how difficult and how tough it has been from a job search perspective. A lot of people have lost their jobs. The economy is really, really, really tough from the job market perspective. So think about it. It is so tough, and there are limited opportunities. Very, very few people. So think about the number of brilliant minds that exist in the market and how difficult it's going to be for those brilliant minds to actually land offers. So for you, there is no, this is not a game. There is no, oh, well, I might do it in any different way. It's more, you have to be very calculated about your approach. You have to do things the exact right way. And the first thing is you need to prepare way ahead of a lot of these opportunities that you will get. Now, there are several pre-MBA opportunities that have been posted. A lot of them have deadlines for this coming week. Actually, a lot of the pre-MBA opportunities have deadline for this coming week, and a lot of them have next week. And these are like the consulting and some of the investment bank opportunities that you all would like to tap into. While it is great for you to apply on time for these opportunities, there's no point applying on time with a bad resume. There's no point applying on time with a bad cover letter, because that's not going to get you anywhere. Your resume literally is a document that speaks for you when you cannot speak for yourself. And I'm sure you're wondering, well, I was able to get into a great I'll answer your question, Shiram. I was able to get into a great MBA program. So how challenging could it really be for my resume to be not optimized? Well, what the admissions officers are looking for is very, very different from what the career people are looking for. And the admissions officers, they place good priority on your resume, but they place more priority on, okay, what you say you have done, not really how you are able to tell your story through the resume. Right. So if you're going to be using the resume that you used to apply to business school, and that's what you're going to be using for the job search, then you might be making a huge mistake. Now, Shiram, you asked the question, are pre-MBA opportunities in the US open for international candidates? Would I require a work visa? Now, pre-MBA opportunities, we can think about it in 2 ways. Now, there are pre-MBA opportunities that are available before the start of your MBA, for internships during your MBA. So there are pre-MBA opportunities that are open right now, and they are supposed to be like, some of them are just like workshops, and some of them are events, right? That will in turn lead to you getting an offer for the summer of 2025. Right. Those pre-MBA opportunities are open to students. A lot of them are like diversity-based pre-MBA opportunities for people of color, for women, for international students, actually, especially for consulting and investment banks. They're trying to get in as many diverse candidates as possible, especially people that are not really the kind of candidates that apply for certain roles. Right. So those are like the type of pre-MBA opportunities. In fact, all of the pre-MBA opportunities open now. I think most of them open now. They are basically for strategy, just basically for sessions and workshops that might happen in person or remotely. But at the end, they kind of have some form of tie to you getting an offer in the particular company for next summer. Now we have another type of pre-MBA opportunity, which is it's actually a pre-MBA internship. So opportunities don't necessarily mean internships. They are pre-MBA internships. Those pre-MBA internships, they are, for most of them, especially when they are paid. If it's like an unpaid pre-MBA internship, then an international student doesn't really need like a work visa or anything for that, because it's basically volunteer. But for most pre-MBA internships, most companies do not take international students. So Amazon has an HR pre-MBA internship open. And if you don't have work authorization, permanent work authorization in the United States, you are not eligible for those pre-MBA internships for that particular Amazon one. But these pre-MBA opportunities are basically, majorly the ones that you can see in our sheet are just for people that are going to be applying to like McKinsey, BMBCG, Evercore, PwC, a lot of those consulting investment banks, pre-MBA opportunities that lead to internship offers in the summer of next year. So there are three things for your resume strategy, right? And like I said, like your resume strategy is not in isolation from all of the other strategies. It's together, right? And you must see everything as together. So you need to have the right content and structure. You need to be able to build your bullet points. You need to be able to identify the right keywords for resume optimization. And you need to be able to transition your international experience or non-traditional experience to the experience that you are interested in here in the United States. And when I say non-traditional, some people have worked as doctors, some people have worked as nurses, some people have worked as teachers. While that's very great diversity that you bring into the program, if you're trying to, I mean, there are no nursing MBA roles or teaching MBA roles. You have like marketing, product management, finance, strategy, etc. So you need to figure out like which one fits you the most based off of the kind of experience that you have. And then you need to think about how you transition those non-traditional experiences to traditional experiences. So the first thing is, I will always say, is the winning format. Your resume must be one page, except you have more than 10 years of experience. And even at that, if you're an incoming MBA candidate, I would always say you shouldn't have more than one page, even if you have 10 years of experience. I know that we have people that have like experience across board where they have worked a lot and they're not like the rest of us that have just very short, like very, very small experience. So a lot of you have like a lot of experience. Now, if you have a lot of experience, even more than 10 years, I'm going to advise that, I'm not saying cut your experience, but especially if you have graduated from college like a long time ago, I would advise that you take out the year of your graduation from college, you take it off. And I would say only include the last 7 years of experience that you have had. The reason why I would say that for you, if you have a long year of experience, over 10 years of experiences, especially as an international student, you are vying for very coveted roles that both international students and domestic students are vying for the same roles. It might make you not competitive if you have significantly more experience than the average MBA, so you might be overqualified for some of those roles. So I mean, this is something that I can talk about like later in like a one-on-one coaching session, but you need to figure out a way to optimize your resume for the most relevant experience that you have. Now, everything should be one page. And I know I put except if you have more than 10, but even if you have more than 10, it should still be one page because you are competing with people in the MBA program who have primarily between 3 to 7 years of experience. So you need to create your resume around those years of experience. Now, your bullet point should highlight achievements and not job descriptions. I know a lot of people talk about this, but a lot of people don't even know what achievements mean. And I would always say, in addition to your bullet points highlighting achievements, your bullet point should talk about a problem that you're trying to solve. There must always be a problem-solving focus in every bullet point. You think through it and say, oh, when I, like in my organization, I have worked in marketing. What are the problems that a marketing person traditionally solves? So maybe you worked in marketing for an FMCG, or you worked in brand management for an FMCG. You need to think through what are the average problems, right? That from a resume perspective, what are the types of problems that somebody in that works as a brand manager or works as a brand marketing manager, works as a sales and operations manager for maybe an FMCG in India, what are the kind of challenges that that kind of person would face, and what kind of problems would the person solve on the job? And you can check this on Google. You can use ChatGPT, providing the right context. I'm not doing prompt engineering today, so I'm not going to tell you the context you should put. I'm not going to tell you the question, but it's a whole thing that you can really put there. And you get out like, oh, these are the types of problems example problems that should be solved from a marketing perspective. The reason why you need to do that is kind of to juggle your memory, because a lot of times for some of us, especially I'm assuming that most people here are international students. For most of the international students, we do not think through things from a problem solving standpoint. We just go to work and we come back. And that's not how it's done in North America. So you have to think through, how exactly do I solve this problem, right? There are several problems that exist. There are several challenges. How do I solve it? How do I make it better? So if your pre-MBA opportunities recruiter, your early interview recruiter is looking at your resume, they need to see that, oh, this person has solved a couple of challenges, right? So you need to think through that. And what that does is once you do your research and you get a lot of problems that could possibly be solved in your role, you will now be able to know the kind of those problems that you have actually solved. You might not have thought about it like problems, but you'll be able to know the problems that you have actually solved. Then your results must be measurable and quantifiable, of course, and it must follow the tailor framework, which now takes me to like me explaining the tailor framework to you. I will always advise from your formatting, right? You can use any font type, any font size. I always use 10, between 10 and 11, depending on like the years of experience. If you have like 4 years of experience, maybe 11 because you don't really have a whole lot on your resume. If you have like 6, 7, 8, then you need to have like font height of 10. I use Times New Roman, but a lot of you here, your schools have your own format, right? So please use your school's format. It's totally fine. Most of the MBA schools, they have great MBA resume formats anyways. And you don't need to really include your house address or anything like that if you want to include anything. So for example, Shiram, you're an incoming MBA at Stanford. You just put the location in California. You don't have to write the entire address. And then make sure that you include your email address in there, and then personalize your LinkedIn link. What that means is you need to go to LinkedIn. You need to go to edit to your profile. You need to go to the top right corner. You need to edit your LinkedIn profile, LinkedIn link, and take out like the numbers, because most people have like numbers in their LinkedIn profile. And then you need to personalize it to yourself. So for me, my personalized LinkedIn link is linkedin.com/IM/Tomilola A. That's what it is, right? So even if somebody's looking for me on LinkedIn, I literally can tell the person that, and the person types that, and the person will be able to see me almost immediately. So you don't want to put the numbers and everything on your LinkedIn profile. And I would always say the recommended sections are education, experience, additional information in that order. As an MBA candidate, summary is very, 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 very optional. In fact, most schools don't have summary. University recruiting roles don't really have summary in their resume. And now your finalized resume must be saved in PDF before sending it out to recruiters. But I mean, if you're sending it out to like your career services team, or you're sending it to somebody like me, of course, send it to Microsoft Word, because I mean, we want to be able to review it and give comments. But for everything that you are sending out to anybody, especially the person that is a recruiter, a hiring manager, or somebody in particular, except the person says that they want to review your resume. If they haven't said that, if they just said, oh, send me your resume, let me see if there are like available roles I can refer you for, everything should be in PDF. Now, the tailor bullet point framework, taught this for a long time, and the bullet point framework still stays the same, except now we can think through, oh, how do we evaluate how do we figure out like the problems that we're trying to solve? So a traditional bullet point framework is the what, the why, the how, and the result. Your resume must have the what, it must have the why, it must have the how, and it must have the result. So the what is basically what? What did you do? What action did you take? Your That's with an action word, like built, led, developed, created, optimized, managed. Everything must start with word. It's very, very compulsory. So you're not starting your bullet with successfully, with providing. No, everything must start with an action word. I put it here that with exception for projects that you're currently working on, but because you're an incoming and are starting school in June, July, August anyways, everything must be start with an action word, because you have to think about it from like you've already completed that part of your work experience. Right? Francis, you say since you're an incoming student, yes, you include the business school, yes. So there's no way you shouldn't apply to Bain or BCG without including the name of your business school. So your business school should be your first education, and then your undergrad should be like your second education that you have there. And I'm sure some of you have like some masters, so it's okay for you to include the masters that you have, but we also need to be sure that the masters actually should correlate with the experience that you are trying to get. So for some of us, we probably maybe we studied something engineering and or maybe we studied something in healthcare and our master's is in healthcare also, or something else, or maybe some engineering course, but we have done business for the last 8 years and we have worked in marketing operations. So it's okay for you to leave your first undergrad in the engineering, but if your master's does not really add anything to, it does not really add anything to you coming for an MBA or add anything to the experience that you have, I would say maybe take it out because it might cause like a bias. Now, I'm not saying you should do that all of the time. It's a case-by-case basis, so I cannot make an assessment based off of like our session now. But that's also something that you need to consider and think about. Now, we now have your why. Why did you do this? Remember when I spoke and I said that, oh, you need to think through research on what problems can I possibly solve in my role as a marketing person, an operations person, a medical assistant? What are the problems that you traditionally solve? This is where your why comes in, right? Your why is, why did you do it, right? If you say you managed a team, why did you manage a team? This highlights like the various scenarios, the types of tasks that you've done at work, the complexities of the projects that you have done, the breadth, the scale. And when somebody looks through your resume, the person can see that, oh, okay, the person has worked on these types of projects. The person has solved these types of problems, right? So for example, if you work in like maybe if you're a business analyst, for example, and you're a business analyst for maybe an oil and gas company, you're thinking through your business analyst for like an FMCG, you're thinking about, oh, maybe you do like resume optimization through like product matching. You're thinking through analysis for pricing. So all of those are problems that as a business analyst in the FMCG sector that you could have actually, that you should be solving. And while a lot of us, we struggle with figuring out, oh, what problem could I possibly solve? Because we don't know, we just go to work and we come back. Using ChatGPT or using Google based off of the way I've explained to you. I mean, I did not explain like the prompt that you should use because I don't have time for that on this call, but you can do that research on your own. I mean, your incoming MBAs and figure out, okay, how do I think through the problems that I should solve or that I could possibly be solving in my role? So you can ask it for 10 problems, 5 problems, whatever it is. And then you would now use that and compare, oh, did I do something like this? Did I solve this kind of problem? And then you use that as your why. Now, for this particular example, what I've done here is the what was managed team of 15 or the managed team of 10. This person managed a team of 15. What the person did was the person created or the person built the bank's first automated funds withdrawal system. For the purpose of this particular bullet point, the bank is a legacy bank, and this happened a couple of years ago. So the reason why the person led the team was to solve a problem of automation, right? So that's one of the possible problems that somebody in this role actually would solve, the problem of automation. And when a recruiter hires and just sees that, the person can think through and say, oh, this person has actually done something really very complex that has to do with automation. We probably have an automation project here that we're working on. And I think this would really, really be great. It would be a really great fit. And what that also does is it gives you the baseline for your interview stories. So you're going to have to come up with interview stories. And I mean, I'm not talking about interview stories at all on this call, but your interview stories also need to follow like a COW framework, context, action, result, and learning point. And all of these actually hinges on the what, why, how, and result. And if you have a lot of why, you're able to give the right context, because for your interviews, you're not just saying, oh, when I worked in this particular organization. No, you are talking about the problem that you solve. Every story must have a problem that you solve from an interview perspective. And it needs to talk about how, oh, what was at stake? If I didn't solve this problem, what challenge would I have gone through? Or would the organization have gone through? So that's why you need the why. Now, the next one we talk about is the how. Your how is, you know, when they're talking through, oh, can my resume go through the ATS system? This is the how. Is my resume a fit for finance, for marketing, for operation? It's the how. So it's how exactly you got to do it, which is the tools, technologies, processes, systems, platforms that you leverage to get your work done. This is how you showcase if you have a finance experience, if you have operations, if you have marketing, if you have product management, whatever skills you want to showcase, right? Like an example here, in building the automated funds withdrawal system, like, did the person write a code? Is the person an engineer? Did the person do like customer research to figure out like what are the priority features that the customer will be requiring from like an automated funds transfer system or funds withdrawal system? So those are like your hows. Now think about it. If somebody is like a nurse, for example, if somebody works in sales and the person is like, oh, I want to optimize myself for finance, it is in your how that you actually figure out how to optimize your keywords. So if you have a sales background and you're saying, I want to position myself for investment banking, but I've done sales all through, how do I make sure that I position myself for investment banking? So the thing that you should think about doing is, oh, maybe I need to have more like data analytics. Maybe I need to have more investment bank data analytics, valuation. Maybe I need to have some Excel skills. So an example is like a salesperson, normally like when they're thinking through, when it's a salesperson trying to sell to you, they do analysis, but they don't think about it like that. They're just like, oh, I have like customers and I think this customer will be a right fit. So when they're writing their house, they're talking about like their marketing. They're talking about how they pitch to customers. They're talking about convincing customers. They're talking about influence. However, still in that same bullet point, they can talk about how they did a trend analysis, or they actually built a model to help them prioritize the customers that they should focus on based off of customer liquidity. That's actually what they normally do, but they would never have put it like that from a finance perspective, because all they have thought about is, oh, I'm a salesperson and they have sales keywords. So if you're trying to say, well, how do I optimize my resume to make it really better, to make sure that I stand the chance across board, you need to start thinking through from a how perspective. How do I come up with like the right methodologies, the right skills that transition these different experiences? And I'm sure you might have a question. Well, I have done finance all through. Does that mean all of my house should be finance? Actually, no, because I worked at PwC before coming for my MBA. And yes, I worked in financial services audit, but I did several things. I also did operations. I did some form of marketing, not the way we would think about marketing or the way Nigerians think about marketing, but I did that. I did operations, I did finance, I did some form of accounting, right? So all of those things, especially strategy, those bullet points can also, those hows can also be integrated in your bullet points, so that when a recruiter looks at your resume, they can say that, oh, I think this person would also be a great fit for this marketing role, and I think this person would also be a great fit for this strategy role. And something that I need to say is, I know this is supposed to be discussed from an application strategy perspective, is as an incoming MBA, especially if you're an incoming MBA interested in, like you're an incoming MBA as an international student. I know that we all have our dreams and our hopes and the companies that we want to apply to, but as an incoming MBA, you should apply to all possible positions. This is because MBA recruiting is basically university recruiting. And what that means is not necessarily that they come to your school, right? University recruiting is the way we would call like a university hiring program, graduate hiring program. for people that are just leaving college, both from a PhD, undergrad, or master's level, right? And for those particular people, because you all know that what you studied in college, you don't exactly do the same thing in your job place, in your workplace, because what you studied in college is actually supposed to prepare you, except if you're studying like a terminal degree like law or medicine, where you know that, okay, what you're studying in college is exactly what you're going to be doing after, especially like medicine, that you really need to study medicine to work as a doctor. But for other roles, what you're studying in college is just supposed to prepare you, right, for diverse opportunities that you can have. So those are the leverageable skills that you're building from like your college degree, right, or also your MBA degree. So university recruiting roles, the hiring managers are not necessarily trying to put you like a square peg in a square hole. They are looking for diversity, and that's why I like a full-time offer from Microsoft for marketing, even though I am a CPA and I have finance experience also. And that's because we're not looking for exact things. That's for university recruiting, right? If it's just in time, that's something totally different for university recruiting purposes. So that's how can I make my resume more diverse? Apart from that, how can I apply to more diverse roles? So you should be applying to several roles, different roles, irrespective of your experience. Don't be the one to self out of doesn't want to hire you. Let them reject you. Don't be the one to reject yourself ahead of the application. The result is basically your measurable achievement. Would affect stakeholders. So achievement is a measurable achievement for me, right? Oh, congratulations on your promotion, congratulations on your award, but that's not a measurable achievement for me. And most importantly, your measurable achievement should be tied. I talked about the problems that you're trying to solve. So the measurable achievements that come with automation, efficiency, those are measurable achievements that can come from with the problem that I try to solve. And it must be quantifiable in percentages, in numbers, and different countries. However, when you're putting your achievement in if you're coming to the United States, it should, if you're going to Europe, it should be, if you're going to the United Kingdom for your masters, it should do pounds. No, just do the years. And you also have to be very realistic, right? Your measurable achievement reasonable. So for example, I have seen Nigerian, I grew revenue of this bank by 30. Too tiny. Feel the bank's revenue. Just going to shred your resume because that's a lie already. Because you cannot grow the bank revenue by 30%. Worked for Tailor Consulting, the company with very tiny revenue, and you say that you grew Tailor's revenue. Talking about this company, you're talking about how you grew something by 30%. That's product. So you can say, oh, you grew this particular maybe product adoption. Maybe you can say you increase the percentage of the growth rate. Like you need to, like it has to be believable, and it has to be come up and make up things that. Bullet points here. I'll just go through a little about like operations. The person spoke about the debugging process, adopting best practices, sourcing partners. Yes, person spoke about the way I awarded a prestigious VP award, but not before the person said they saved $1 million. It's okay. An award able result for doing it. To think through what, why, how, and result. Now, your what, your why, your how, and your result. does not necessarily have to be in that particular manner, what, why, how, and result. It can be in any manner. The only thing that you need to do is your bullet points must start with an action word. So if you want to do what, result, how, why, it doesn't matter, but start with an action word and make sure what, why, how, and result is present everywhere. So these are the sample bullet points that we have here. And these are also sample bullet points that talk about like different problems people are trying to solve across like their different focus areas. So this is something that like extracting keywords. So it's not necessarily like, oh, extracting keywords. The assignment that I might give you is you need to think through, which is what I spoke about from the using GPT to think through like a problem you're trying to solve. You can also think through and say, oh, what are the specific functional keywords for finance? You can prompt, you can use prompt engineering to do whatever you want. I'm not going to talk about that today. You can also check on Google and figure out, okay, what are keywords for finance? And when I ask people keywords for finance, they tell me collaboration. And I'm like, I'm so confused. Keywords. What do you mean collaboration? What do you mean decision making? I'm talking about forecasting, budgeting, valuation, modeling. Those are keywords that talk about your finance expertise and your finance skills. Right? That's what you should think through, right? And for some of us, we might not necessarily have all of the experience, because I know a few people have like just 2 years of experience and they're able to get into the MBA program. So you can also include a project experience there, right? Then one thing that I didn't really talk about is aligning your role titles to the role title here in your country. Now, for some of us back home, the titles of our roles or the title that they give us in the company are not really like what we do. And I always give an example of this because I know that worked in Nigerian financial institutions, and some of their titles don't have anything to do with role. If you're writing your MBA resume for career purposes and you put like a title that does not have anything to do with what is applicable here in the United States or in North America, the recruiter is just going to drop it because they don't know what that is. So you need to think through and say, what did I do in my role? Did I work in marketing? Did I work in operations? Was I an engineer? Did I work in product management? You need to make sure that the role title aligns a whole lot. You need to make sure that the role title aligns a whole lot with the applicable role title here in the country that you're coming to, right? The role title must align with the applicable role title for the country that you're coming to. Very, very important that the role title aligns. So if you did, but if you worked in consulting, for example, and our titles are associate, senior associate, that's fine. You're good with that because everybody around the world knows that it's associate and senior associate or consultant and senior consultants. They know what that is. But you're working for a company that nobody really knows, and try to make sure that your title is more like product manager, whatever you actually did. And it's not just what you did, it's actually what they call it in the country that you are coming to. It has to be, you have to call it what they call it in the country that you are coming to from like a role title perspective. Very, very important that you do that. Okay. So you can use your chat box to ask like any questions. We have come to the Q&A part of this session. And yeah, what about marketing titles in the States? I know you can do that research what are the marketing titles for MBAs, and you can figure out like, oh, these are the marketing titles for MBAs, and I think this particular title aligns with what I have done in the past. So that will be like your assignment for you to get done. Like if you want another consultant to help you do all of that, that's a paid service. We can help you with like your analysis on your resume and help you do more brainstorming into each individual bullet point, figuring out how you can put it together and stuff like that. So if you have other questions, you can ask your questions. No, I'm not able to share my resume because it's my personal property. But if you go to my LinkedIn profile, that Tatiana Services can include in the link, you would be able to see the my bullet points that I used. I think I have updated some of those bullet points, but I am not able to share my resume at the moment. But what I can do is I can probably share my screen with the resume so you can see, but like I'm not going to send it to you. Okay, so before I share my screen with the resume, based off of what Shuram has said, I would share my screen, but I'd like to introduce like the Head Start program. So the Head Start program is like a comprehensive program. It's a 6-week boot camp. It's 15 hours because it's 2.5 hours every weekend, every Saturday or Sunday. And it focuses on helping international MBA students with resources and skills required to get a head start in the US job market and be successful in landing early internships. We have actually had 2 cohorts of the Head Start program. One was already completed. The other one is going to be completed in 2 weeks. And we are starting the 3rd cohort for the Head Start program in about 3 weeks. That is in May. And most of our Head Start clients, at least all of the Head Start clients that I've had, this is the 4th time I'm doing a Head Start program. All of them have been able to get interviews by September. And 70% of them were able to land their offers before December. So it's a huge and very, very big investment in your career development to ensure that you are prepared and you are ready to actually take on like the challenges and the rigors of the MBA program. Because the MBA program is very, very intense. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very, very intense. And you're thinking through, oh, how do I even get a head start with the job market? How do I make sure that I develop my own self career-wise? You have to think through that. And it's really, really tough. So we focus on a lot of things. We do like resume and cover letter coaching, job search prep, all of the anchors of the job search prep, from application to resume to networking, interviewing. We help think through how you craft your interview stories. We go through consulting cases, other technical cases, post-MBA path evaluation, and there's a case competition and their networking event for you for the Head Start program. So if you are interested in applying, Tailor Services will include the link for you to sign up for the Head Start program and to provide you an opportunity to prepare way ahead of landing your offers in the fall. So think about it. If I've just taught you this for 48 minutes or 45 minutes, and imagine going through everything step by step for 15 hours. I mean, not at once, but 15 hours over a 6-week period. It's going to be very, very intense, and it's going to be a very good investment in yourself ahead of starting in the fall. You don't want to start in the fall without having any experience at all with interviewing and job search. And a lot of the pre-MBA opportunities are already open, so it will be good for you to put the best foot forward for your resume, cover letter, and everything. All of your resumes, cover letters will be finalized by me. You would have mock interviews, and you would have like the right strategies to put your best foot forward. So if you're interested, please actually sign up using the link that has been posted here. And also, if you're thinking through like, oh, you want to actually schedule like a free session with me, you're thinking through, well, I think I want to learn more about what she has to offer. Maybe I want to ask her a few more questions. You can use the Tailor Discovery Session link that would also be posted here to sign up for the session. And finally, if you are thinking about, you already got into business school, you're thinking about, oh, I actually want to get a loan. We are an Empower partner. We are also a Prodigy partner. So if you're seeking like assistance with, oh, how do I go through like my loan application, you can reach out to us. So you can use the Empower UTM link here, or if you are more interested in Prodigy, we'll be sending over that UTM link later. So let me share my screen with my resume based off of what I have promised. Sure, I'm here, and then you would see what I have. Now, my resume is going to be very, very different from what I had used to apply. So you've asked that the one I used to apply for a PM role in Microsoft. I literally did not apply for a PM role. I applied for all of the available university recruiting roles that was finance, marketing, and I think operations and sales. But I got product marketing. So my first 3 years at Microsoft, I worked in product marketing. So my PM role is me moving to product management within Microsoft. But I can show you what my resume looks like now, and then I will try to see if I can find what my resume looked like before. So let me show you that. See, I don't know if it's clear enough. Let me see. Okay, yes, awesome. So this is what my resume looks like now, based off of the experience that I've had so far. Before my MBA or during my MBA, the education section here was on top. But after the MBA, the education section comes down before like my certification and additional information. Also, during my MBA, I had a whole lot of like everything here regarding like volunteer experience, my interest, everything. But I took all of that down because I didn't have enough space on my resume and I still wanted to keep it at one page. So in Nigeria, we have something like NYSC, like something that we do. So I just merged all of that to this experience that I have here. But my main experience started when I worked at PwC. So my PwC had included just senior associate, but I had senior associate, I had associate, but I've merged it together because currently Microsoft is where I've worked the longest in my career, which I'm going to be 5 years in July. So that we have more of my experience. And then my MBA internship, I had reduced that bullet point, I think, to just 1, and I think it used to be 3. So right now I have my Tataran experience, which I've had since May, and my Microsoft experience. So this is the way the structure of the resume should look like. I don't even have a summary section here. For the almost 2 years, I have worked as a technical product manager for Microsoft Purview. And here I worked as a senior go-to-market manager, which was product marketing for our Azure platform as a service solution. And I had 5 bullet points here, and I have 3 bullet points here for Titanal Consulting and the other startup that I'm working on with my friend. So that's basically what the resume looks like. Nothing, I don't include like skills section where I have like other funny skills. No, I don't need that, because anybody that checks and sees every bullet point can see the specific skills that I have included in the bullet point. So which is like, I have like data modeling skills, I have resume optimization skills, I worked on like customer success, I worked on quantitative analysis, I prioritized customer feedback, I did product roadmaps. All of those things are included in here. So this is what your resume basically should look like. Yeah. So I don't know if anybody has another question. I know Srinath, you asked for the recording. Yes, the recording will be on YouTube, and you will actually get an email with the recording link and also the links to everything that we have discussed today. You will have all of the recording links. I know that, let me just answer Victor's questions about the marketing titles, because I expected that you actually do that research, but it's very, very simple. There are different marketing titles. You have product marketing managers, you have brand marketing managers, depending on the organization. Some people have marketing analytics roles, but most roles are product marketing, brand marketing manager roles. And now within those titles, the type of thing that you do is now very, very different, because a product marketing manager at Microsoft can do 20 different things. So you can have 20 people that are product marketing managers and they do 20 different things. So the title itself might be very, very different from what you do from a job experience standpoint. Yes. So do we have any more questions? What would the free discussion? The free discovery session includes whatever you want it to include. So it's you coming to ask your questions and asking me like what you want. Like you can come and say it's a 20-minute session. So you can say, I know for this 20 minutes, I want to fix a bullet point on my resume, and that's fine. It's free. So it's whatever you want. Within the discovery session is what you get. So where can I find a resume review link? I don't understand what you mean by resume review link. I don't know what you mean by resume review link. Are you saying that a link for Tatiana to help you with your resume review. Is that what you're asking? Or you want to schedule a session? I don't know what you mean. But Victor, you asked, you're staying within bank marketing. It's also marketing, right? But I know that within a lot of the banks, a lot of people, well, I'm assuming you are Nigerian. I don't know if you're Nigerian or not, but what you call marketing is actually sales. So you need to think through and say, like, because what most people call marketing within like Nigerian banks is actually sales. Marketing is actually very strategy focused. Like people come up with like pitch decks, depending on the type of marketing, really, right? They come up with like positioning statements, like workshops, like trainings. Like I worked in marketing, but I worked for go-to-market, so I worked straight with the sales field. Oh, yes, Tatiana provides a resume review. Yes, so you can just schedule a free discovery session, or you can send us an email at ano@tatianaconsulting.com, which is like my email address, and I can get you started on the resume review if that's what you want. Okay, so yes, if you want to reach out, you can send an email to ano@tatianaconsulting.com, coaching@tatianaconsulting.com. Tatiana has an official WhatsApp number that is handled by the team at Tatiana Consulting. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and just let us know if you'd like to sign up to be part of the Head Start program. It starts in the first week of May, so that would be really great if you can get in the program as soon as possible. The first week of May, it will be really, really, really amazing. And I think it will be done by middle of June anyways. And you would actually have all of the experience and all of the skills that you actually require ahead of starting in the fall, because the MBA program itself is tough. And also an additional thing for the Head Start program is if you sign up for the Head Start program, you get like visa coaching session and services from us. I mean, your visa is not guaranteed in any way. I don't guarantee people anything, but like the kind of questions that you can be asked at the interview, how to answer certain questions is what will be provided. Okay. So please let me know if you have any more questions. Okay, awesome. So we actually ended right on time. Thank you so much for time and participation. I hope to get emails from you all. So you can send me an email. You can tell me about your peculiar situation. I'm happy to respond to your emails. I think I have about an hour after this call, my emails, to respond to all of my emails. So please ping, text, and let us know. Thank you so much. It was great talking to you all today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.